So I just did a little bit of shopping, and I was at the Dollar Tree and I got a little decoration for the table. Just to put a little pizzazz. Mr. Woodpecker has been pecking a lot. But he's not right now. I really think he's way up in that tree, because that's where the sound was coming from. He may have left. But man, when I was bringing the groceries in, he was just pecking away. Peck, 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 peck. It is so cool. I've never heard a woodpecker until I moved here. It's so cool. And it's been raining on and off, but I did take a walk today. And now I am just going to cook up some hamburgers and try to go to sleep at a decent hour, because I need to be at the ear doctor tomorrow. And I'm really, really so happy that I'm going, because I'm so tired of earaches and sore throats and sinuses. I mean, everything is so bad. And I'm also going to tell him about my singing when I go in the lower register. It's very froggy. And I'm just hoping there's nothing wrong with my voice box. There's Miss Winnie, and she's going to go running upstairs. Rob left. He went back to Connecticut where he works. He was just so devastated at what he saw in his apartment. The landlord broke his TV in his bedroom. His 72-inch TV in the living room is off center. It's obvious he was in the process of taking it down, and he unhooked everything, and my neighbor has no idea where anything gets hooked to, and he just got so upset. He said, I'm going back down to Connecticut. And I feel so freaking bad for him. It's just horrible what that landlord did. And there's no consoling him, but you know what? The landlord will pay, because he fooled around with the wrong person. My neighbor is in property management, and he knows all of the tenant landlord laws. So, and I even looked them up. It is illegal in Vermont for any landlord to take your possessions, whether you're late for rent or not. You have to go to court to get a court order. That's the way it works. And our little lady's here, oh, he's such a good man. No, he's not a good man. He tried to evict me, not this February, but the year before. I was $200 short on my rent. He actually gave me a 14-day notice to either pay the $200 or move out. And he's not a good man. He really isn't. But I love this property. You know how much I love my apartment. I'm hoping that this situation will open his eyes as to what he can and cannot do with tenants, because he's lucky he didn't get arrested. He could have gotten arrested, but my neighbor said, no, I'm not out to do that. I'm just going to sue him in court, because he ruined 2 TVs, and just stripped the whole place. Just stripped it. You went in there. He had, movie posters on his walls, and a curio cabinet full of memorabilia. And that landlord had taken everything out of that curio cabinet and put everything in boxes. And he mixed everything around, bedroom stuff and living room stuff. And My neighbor is just beside himself, and I don't blame him. If somebody did that to me, actually, I've had that done to me. When we lived in Tennessee in a mobile home, our landlord lived in Florida, and we were having so much trouble with the sewage coming into the house because it didn't have a proper cesspool. So we just got to the point where we were sick of it, and we didn't pay him rent 1 month. And he went to court and got an order and gave us 14 days to get out. Okay. And unfortunately, my husband, who could be a real jackass sometimes, I love him, but what he did was, we went back one day and we took out a few things, and we went inside the 3-story dollhouse that my husband had painstakingly made for me. I never had a dollhouse as a kid. And he built this beautiful dollhouse for me. And I had it all furnished with beautiful pieces. And it was gorgeous. We went back. He had smashed the dollhouse on the ground. All the furniture was gone. The second small dollhouse that Dave made for me was on the ground. All the furniture was gone from there. All of the shoes that were in front of the door, he stole those. So I know what my neighbor is feeling, because that was horrendous. But then, Dave, I had thought we would come back. So I actually put my cases of vinyl albums, which I had had since I was 10 years old. I was collecting vinyl albums, and I had about probably 90 to 100 of them. And Dave goes in and he turns on the bathtub and closes the door. Can you imagine? He was so vindictive. Dave was very vindictive. Ever since Elizabeth's mother, screwed us over, Dave became very bitter and very angry. And he would go off the deep end. And he did. And unfortunately, along with that, I lost all of my records that I had, gotten since I was 10 years old. I had every single album that the Osmond Brothers did. I had every single album that Crystal Gayle did. I had tons of Beatles albums. Everything was just gone. And it was just devastating. Just devastating. So, I know what he feels like. And that wasn't the first time that I lost everything. When I moved from Sevierville back to Nashville, I got an apartment and it flooded, unfortunately. So my friend and her husband came and they packed me all up. He took all of my photos down that I've had for 30 years, all of my photo albums that I had since I was 10 years old. He put all of them in a very, very big box. How the hell that man could have picked that box up, I don't know. But when it was time for me to clean out that shed that I had, that I was paying for, the people who were helping me, I asked them to put that box on their truck. Turns out they didn't. So I had these boxes under my dining room table, and I assumed all along that that box was there. 6 months later, I'm going into underneath there looking for the box, and it's not there. I lost 30 years of memories, and I'm still devastated to this day about that. Still devastated. All my photo albums, our wedding certificate, which was, I had just bought like $20 frames and put the wedding certificate up, put all of our photos up of the family, gone. So that's why I am so upset, because I lived through this twice. And it's just horrible. So I'm never going to get over those losses, you know. And then when I left Sevierville, all I had was my car, and I put all of my pictures in there, all of my photo albums, everything that was dear to me came with me to Nashville, and I wound up losing it all. So, oh my God, it's overwhelming, you know. And so, you know, it's taken me a couple of years to get my kitchen appliances back, my furniture. Of course, nothing is going to replace the photo albums. Elizabeth's photo albums were in there. Oh, I was so upset. I still have the APS cartridges of all of Elizabeth's pictures. But, I mean, there's so many of them. It probably cost me thousands of dollars to try and get those converted, you know, digitally or whatever you can do with those APS cartridges. I don't know. But at least I did have one small album with Elizabeth's pictures in it. But I had over like 100 pictures of her. I was always taking pictures of her, you know. So, anyway, at least I found my family and making new memories, but it just brings back all of those horrible, horrible feelings I had. When I lost, I've lost so much, you know? All of my possessions, my beautiful possessions that meant so much to me. I lost Elizabeth, I lost Dave, and no wonder I tried to commit suicide twice after all that, you know? But thank God I just finally said, you know what? I know I've got family out there somewhere. I know I've got cousins. I went onto Facebook. I looked up my cousin. I can't tell their names, but I looked them up on Facebook, and we connected once, maybe a year or so before, but this time I was determined that I was going to find them, talk to them, see them. We would do video calls every day. My female cousin up here and I did video calls every single day once we finally got back in touch. And that happened in December of 2017. And then by June 23rd of 2018, I was up here. I moved from Tennessee up here with whatever I had. I was living in a lady's house in a room. I was supposed to take her cat with me, but we think that the cat got killed by the coyote. Both her cats disappeared, and they were outside cats, so that was bad. But I had found Vivi. So I picked up Vivi, and we drove all the way up here to Tennessee. He was such a good cat. I had him on a leash. I took him out. He never went to the bathroom. I think he peed in the car somewhere. But he did not make a mess. And it was a 12-hour drive up here. So Vivi was such a good companion. And he's such a good boy. I miss him so much. So anyway, that's the story of my life today. And just remembering all these horrible things. But I'm going to bring my groceries in, probably have a couple of egg rolls, and see what's on YouTube. I hope y'all have a good night. Bye.